Welcome back, Dank friends. We approach an exciting new phase of our Robot in 3 Days journey as the pieces of our foundation begin to come together. We make the tough decisions that will shape the rest of our story. Follow along with our intrepid mentors as they leave the safety of pre-built modules and field element schematics and enter a world of the unknown, where anything is possible, but everything comes at a price.
Cool. Are we good? So we're live.
You guys are live and in action. Begin. What happened yesterday? What are we doing today, babe?
Hi, welcome back, everyone. Circle City Circuits here in the lab. Yesterday, we got through most of our game theory strategizing and ended the day with robot requirements and doing some research. And then also got a drivetrain up and running. Parker, you want to grab the... Right now, this morning, we've been working silently on design stuff, getting our field set up, and just making sure our swerve drive's ready to go. Follow me real quick. Just have the bump and our fuel set up out here. Just a quick setup we did for the hub. We just modified our barge from last year, lowered it down to the correct height, and we have something to shoot at hopefully soon. So right now, I guess we'll wait till we get back in here. So on the list for today, want to finish up our field elements, working on getting a tower to climb on. Prototyping, we want to get a hooded shooter, intake, and an L1 climber. This will probably be last, but we're thinking we have a pretty simple fix for that, just using like a climber in a box.
Climber in a box, yeah.
And in CAD, we updated the basic, got a CRAN CAD together, and are working on a 4-bar linkage intake right now that we're going to try and prototype. And software has just been setting stuff up, getting ready to roll. So one of the things we want to discuss was going to come closer. Was what type of intake we're going for. So looking at a side view of the robot. It's really bad. So a side view of the robot with bumpers. So we moved our bumper up. And fuel's going to be, let's say the wheels here.
So
one of the discussions, back to our robot requirements, one of the things we talked about was we don't want the intake to get damaged while we're moving.
Robustness of the robot being tier 0, moving all across the ramp. Moving over the ramp bump is why we raised the bumper height. Now we're designing to where we know defense is coming. We need to have a design that can face sticking out past the bumper. Anything you put out there needs to be able to take a hit. Yep.
And so basically the few different types we talked about were slap down intake, a 4-bar linkage type intake, and then you can just do linear slide. So just talking through the implications, pros and cons of each of these. Slap down, really simple. Just a motor and slap down. One of the potentially bad things about this, it can get easily damaged depending on where you're pivoting from. If someone runs into you, it doesn't have any give to it.
If you take a collision head on, it is just a straight bar that is taking all the hit. There's no pushing it back into the robot.
Yeah. You could do different pivot points to kind of get around that, but it's kind of complicated over the bumper and also intake and do that. So 4-bar linkage. I guess coming down to linear first. So linear, we don't want to do pneumatics, and that's the easiest way to do linear.
Has a lot of the same issues as well. Yes, it's one actuation and can be pushed back. If you're not using pneumatics, the give on it is going to be a lot less. It's going to make it to where a linear intake will be pretty much fixed. Also more damageable, less robust in terms of taking a hit head on.
Yep. Yeah. And so 4-bar, basically you want to be able to pivot down. So our current draft is we have it here and there, and then a kind of like a train of wheeled assemblies. And then our plan is to do a fixed box to the back of that. So it'll allow us to up and into a hopper. And so if you can imagine, what'll happen is when, let's say, you were to run into another robot or a wall or something, if you hit this, it'll kind of want to shoot back up and have some give in it. We're not going to get too complicated. We just want to make sure our linkage works first. But some of the things you could do to help with that is add springs. You could do something as simple as like a poly tubing or something like that, or do like an actual torsion spring at your axle or up here. So just some design considerations we're thinking about. First and foremost, we just want to get the linkage out there and on the robot with the update bumpers and see how it interacts. So,
and yeah, there is a chance we get this and it doesn't clearly work for the balls bringing bumper, and then we have to attack it a different way. But this was our first thought in terms of, we've seen it happen 2017, 2022, multiple ball intake games, 4 bars. When you're extending out in the face of defense, a 4 bar seems to be the most reliable, robust solution.
Yep.
Once we've got it in, I'm sure you've seen hoppers from 2017. Those large ball years, you needed to be able to store a large amount of fuel. This year, given that there is no fuel limit, that means you should have as much as you can. If you're going to score the most, you need to have them. So when it comes to a hopper, I think it's self-explanatory. Make it as big as possible, to store as many balls as possible, while also keeping it on a slope into where you're trying to shoot from.
Yeah, so I will. You get the idea. So this is kind of the hopper idea. And then moving into a shooter. The shooter for type shooters, basically you have a 2-wheel or a hooded. I think the hooded, well, from past experience, and that's what we're going to start with in terms of testing out. But one of the things we discussed was whether we want to go forwards or backwards when we're shooting. So basically,
shooting either over the robot, back over the intake, or shooting away from there.
So these are 2 options. So the thing to think about in game strategy is, if you have a ball coming in this way, do you want to shoot it out the other way, or do you want to shoot it out the same way you guys did? Usually in a cycle game, which this game isn't straight cycle, but usually in a cycle game, you want to go from one end to the other, and that way it allows you to collect and then go score
without
having to completely rotate around. So we're going to strive for this first, and basically have our shooter set up over here, and some type of hood circling around, and we'll do a basically an indexer underneath. That's really bad. You get the gist. And then fuel will come up here and go out that way. So that's our plan. Just need to, one of the things that's always not done well in robotics or in this type of setup is transfer of material or transfer of the fuel. So we think we have a pretty good concept for this and for a shooter, but ultimately, how do you transfer in between? Things get stuck a lot of the times. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, that's where we're going to move on our prototyping forward. Now we need to get those drawn, cut, and ready to assemble so we can see if our ideas are going to work. We're going to keep you guys along for the ride, show you every prototype we do. Hopefully, we got it right the first time, right? But never know.
Yeah. Real quick setup. We're going to shift over to the bot, if you want to go ahead and rotate that around. So one of the things we noticed was I think this is the 6th of the field. The box that comes in is actually pretty close size to what type of hopper you may have on your robot. So from the floor, this box is 26, 27 inches. Gosh, it was there. It was too obvious. So this will fit underneath the height requirement, but won't fit underneath the trench. So something to keep in mind. This is 42
I
fuel.
believe, yeah, 42 fuel. But obviously a little more narrow than maximum.
Yeah.
You can always make your engine part of your hopper. You can always think to open up as soon as the match starts. You only have to start in a certain configuration. You can get bigger, hold more fuel if you would like. Like we discussed with our rational agent, though, we thought 24 maximum is a totally reasonable thing. So to hold 42 is gravy.
Yeah. Right now, we haven't decided whether or not we're going to go into the trench. We're going to kind of let our prototyping and design tell us what makes most sense. So, you know, if we sacrifice a few, if you want to go ahead and come into like a top view of this. So interacting with these like in a hopper, let's say, past game pieces can get stuck. You can kind of see if I'm like pushing down on these, or if you're trying to move a ball somewhere, or fuel, it won't really jam into any of the corners. Something we'll want to keep an eye out when we're transferring them, if we have to actively move it versus just passively go down a chute. So that'll be something to think about. But honestly, with how slick the balls are or the fuel are on each other, we don't think that we're going to have to do a whole lot to them.
But that's also something we might have to consider when they are worn down. Once we've ran these through 100 shots apiece, we might have to revisit this, make sure that the ball isn't changing.
Yeah, good point. Cool. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Bumpers are basically ready to roll. We're going to go ahead and start seeing some linkage parts to test out. And yeah, we'll check back in, keep watching the live stream if you want to see CNC in action. And
things are definitely about to get really rolling. We're taking it out of our minds and actually beginning the robot construction with the CAD to guide us.
For sure. Cool.
And we'll see you later.
Let's go ahead and set up that in our, just put that.
Be sure to follow us at DankBots everywhere you consume high-quality robot content. And as always, stay dank, friends.